if you're listening to this right now, chances are you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't just mean physically tired. I mean deep down, spiritually tired of the cycle.
The grind.
Exactly. You are tired of feeling stuck. You're in that perpetual middle ground. You talk about these huge monumental goals, but they just never happen.
Right. They stay as ideas.
They stay as ideas. And you hit the reset button every single Monday. You say, this is the week. And then by Wednesday afternoon, your discipline is just, it's crashed and burned again.
And you look back at the year and realize you've just been reliving the same day over and over and over.
That's the feeling. That's the pain point we're starting with today.
And let's be very clear from the outset, this deep dive, it isn't designed to provide comfort. This is the necessary intervention.
Right.
We're not here to offer motivational platitudes or, soft advice. We are going to be surgically dissecting what we're treating as a manual for absolute self-mastery.
A manual that, from our analysis, ruthlessly dismisses the easy way. It only deals in hard truths and what it calls ironclad discipline hacks.
That's the mission.
We've spent weeks with this source material, and it is blunt. I mean, it's almost painful in its directness.
Yeah.
Its core diagnosis of why people are stuck is, well, it's immediate and it's brutal.
It is. It says most people fail because they do three things. They delay, they blame, and they wait.
Wait for what exactly?
For external permission, for validation, for that magical feeling of motivation to strike, and the manual states right up front that this is the trap.
It's the ultimate wake-up call, then.
It really is. The source argues you don't need motivation. I mean, think about it. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings are fleeting, they're unreliable, they're situational.
They depend on whether you get enough sleep or had your coffee.
Exactly. What you actually need is direction. You need structure. And you need uncompromising action. And that direction, it begins right now with one single decision.
Which is?
The decision to stop being led by your impulses and to start leading yourself forward, intentionally.
What I found so fascinating is how the source immediately sets the stakes so high. It basically argues that waiting around and seeking comfort, it's not just passive, it's actively corrosive to your potential.
Yes, we confuse comfort with stability, but in the context of growth, comfort is the silent killer.
So if you're comfortable,
you are static. And if you're not stretching, if you're not pushing, you are actively wasting your potential. And what's worse, you're giving your limited energy and time to maintaining your excuses.
wow, maintaining excuses, that's a powerful way to put it.
That's the whole point. The difference between wishing for a better life and actually creating one is just drawing that clear, unambiguous line in the sand.
So this is the moment. This is where you stop living in that gray area of almost and maybe and commit fully to leading yourself.
Self-leadership, that's the core.
Okay, so let's unpack this manual. Let's start with what you call the single hardest truth the entire system is built on.
Total ownership.
Let's get into it.
All right, this takes us straight into what the manual presents in its early chapters, something we've started calling the mirror test.
The mirror test. I like that. It sounds confrontational.
It is. It's deceptively simple, but it is incredibly difficult to execute consistently. The manual insists, and it doesn't budge on this, that the very first non-negotiable step toward any kind of success or growth,
Any progress at all.
any progress at all, is acknowledging that the solution starts and ends with you.
And right there, that's where the resistance kicks in for so many people.
Yeah.
That's the wall they hit.
Of course it is.
Because they want to pin their current situation on things outside their control.
Yeah.
It's my boss. It's the system. It's that I don't have enough money. It's my past.
They become masters at justifying stagnation.
Yeah.
They build this elaborate case for why they are stuck, and the one person they leave out of the equation is themselves.
It's a defense mechanism.
It's the ultimate defense mechanism, and this is the step that most people, often unconsciously, just skip entirely. They put conditions on their own commitment.
What do you mean by that?
They'll say, I'll start getting serious about my health when my job is less stressful. Or, I'll start my business when the economy gets better. They're waiting for everything outside of them to change.
Before they're willing to commit to changing anything inside.
Precisely. They are waiting for an external rescue, for the universe to hand them a perfect starting line.
But the source material is just... It's completely emphatic. That is a fantasy. It's never coming.
Never. Change is not generated from the outside. It is always, inevitably, an inside job. You have to decide right here, right now, that you are responsible for your life.
And not just the good parts, the wins.
No, that's the easy part. You have to own the mistakes. You have to own the current struggle. You have to own the challenging position you find yourself in, even if external factors contributed. You have to own your response to it.
This need for total ownership, it's really the bedrock of mental toughness, isn't it?
It is. It requires a genuine, almost a brutal humility to look in that mirror and admit, I'm the one who let things slide, or I haven't been giving my best, or I've been choosing distraction over dedication.
But that can lead to shame, can't it? A lot of people hear, it's all your fault, and just shut down.
And that's the critical distinction the manual makes. This is not about shame. It's not about guilt. It's about accepting a premise.
And that premise is,
Until you take full, non-negotiable ownership of where you are right now, you have no leverage. You cannot move forward.
you're powerless.
You're effectively declaring, I am powerless until the universe reorganizes itself for my benefit. And that is a paralyzing place to live. It's a self-imposed prison.
I have to push back a little here, though, because the manual sounds incredibly demanding. What about people dealing with real systemic issues
Yeah.
or deep past trauma? Doesn't this idea of you created the mess feel, I don't know, unfair or even destructive?
That's a fair question. And the manual addresses this not by denying that external challenges exist. It's not saying those things aren't real.
Right.
What it does is reframe the concept of ownership itself. And this moves us straight into the next critical idea: blame versus power.
Blame versus power.
Blame is seductive. It's so tempting. It gives you immediate temporary comfort. It gives you a clean story for your stagnation.
A narrative. I'm stuck because of X event or because of Y person.
Right. It's a powerful psychological release valve. It lets you off the hook.
But only for a moment.
Only for a moment. And that short-term comfort is precisely what becomes a toxic anchor. It's like an anesthetic that prevents unnecessary surgery.
It stops all progress.
It halts it completely. It can keep people delayed for years, cycling through the exact same frustrations because they're busy blaming everything but the one person whose actions they actually control. Themselves. So they stay frustrated, they stay confused, wondering why nothing ever changes, never realizing they're addicted to the comfort of their own explanation.
So the reframe is the key. Ownership isn't about accepting guilt or punishment.
It is about seizing power. If you just remove the emotion from it and look at the cold logic, it's undeniable. If your past decisions, regardless of the circumstances you faced, have led you to this current challenging spot,
Then logically.
then it must be logically true that your new decisions made with intention and discipline can lead you somewhere better.
That is a profoundly empowering thought.
It's everything. It means you stop waiting. You don't need to wait for rescue. You don't need permission from the system or anyone else. You don't need their validation. You are the locus of control.
And that's the ultimate shift the manual demands. You stop living passively, just hoping things improve, and you start actively creating a life that reflects who you truly are, not who you've just settled for being.
And to make that shift, you have to ruthlessly kill one more thing:
Which is,
the illusion of the perfect moment.
the I'll start on Monday trap.
It's so pervasive. We're always waiting for the conditions to be perfect, waiting for the schedule to magically clear up, waiting for the house to get quiet, waiting for the perfect mentor to appear.
Or the most common one, waiting for motivation to strike.
That's the big one. We wait for this magic moment that is absolutely 100% guaranteed never to arrive.
And the manual is clear on this. It says, if you wait until you feel ready, you will never feel ready. I want to dig into the mechanism of that. Why is the feeling of ready the enemy of action?
Because your brain is fundamentally wired for efficiency and self-protection, not for growth.
Okay, break that down.
Starting something new, something hard, something uncomfortable, that signals risk and inefficiency to your primal brain, to the limbic system.
It's a threat.
It's a potential threat that will require a lot of energy. So your brain naturally generates feelings of doubt, fear, inadequacy, the exact opposite of ready as a self-preservation measure. It's trying to warn you away from the effort and the unknown.
So the manual just flips that entire script. Ready isn't something you need at the start. It's a reward you get later.
It is a retroactive reward. Ready comes after you begin, confidence comes after you act, clarity comes after you start moving.
So people waiting for motivation are stuck in a biological loop. They're waiting for an emotion to override their basic neurological wiring.
And it will never happen consistently. The people who rely on discipline, though, they make progress. Because discipline isn't a feeling, it's a cold, calculated choice. It's a decision that you make, regardless of the emotional weather.
That's the difference between a commitment and a mood.
A commitment versus a mood. That's perfect. And that is why the manual talks about drawing a line. It's an internal declaration that just overrides all those noisy emotional signals.
You just declare, from this moment forward, I lead my life.
Yes. It means you wake up in the morning and you don't check in to see how you feel. You don't take your emotional temperature. You declare what you will accomplish.
You stop hiding.
You stop hiding behind the past. You stop pretending you don't know the path forward. The source is so clear on this. You know the conversation you need to have. You know the work you need to do. You've just been ignoring the requirement for action.
So it's time to stop the charade.
Stop the charade.
And that transition from this passive waiting victimhood to aggressive, intentional self-leadership that moves us directly into the next core idea.
The action imperative.
Okay, section 2. This is where the rubber really hits the road. If total ownership was the mindset correction, this is all about behavior activation.
Exactly.
And it starts with maybe the most frustrating hard truth for anyone who's smart and ambitious, the knowing-doing gap.
This is such a critical diagnosis for our time. We are living in an era of infinite information. You can learn how to do anything on your phone in 10 minutes.
Right. Information is not the problem.
Not at all. Most people listening right now, they already know with a high degree of certainty what they need to do to improve their health, their career, their relationships. They've known for weeks, months, maybe years.
But they don't do it.
They don't do it. The problem isn't a lack of knowing. It's the massive canyon-sized gap between their intentions and their consistent actions.
So the big question is why? Why do smart, high-potential people fail to execute on what they already know is good for them?
It's a combination of things. It's the inertia of inaction, for one. A body at rest stays at rest.
And it's also, I think, the expectation of some kind of external pressure.
That's the other half of it. We're conditioned by school, by jobs, to respond to deadlines and bosses. We wait for that push.
But in your own life.
In your own life, with your most important goals, nobody is coming. That's the ultimate hard truth the manual delivers here. Nobody is coming to push you.
There's no external force that's going to magically wake you up early and force you to get serious about your life.
That job, the job of being your own taskmaster, your own coach, your own accountability partner, is 100%, unequivocally, your job.
And if you want to become that best version of yourself, the source argues you have to start by doing the things you keep avoiding, whether you feel like it or not.
And that brings us to the absolute primacy of discipline versus feeling.
Or discipline versus motivation.
Same thing. People who rely on motivation are in a state of perpetual paralysis. They're always waiting.
Because motivation is a luxury. It's an unreliable source of energy.
It's only there when the task is new or exciting or when you're getting immediate rewards. The second it gets hard or boring,
It vanishes.
it's gone. Discipline, on the other hand, is a choice you make regardless of your emotional state. It's a cold, calculated commitment to a future goal that overrides the comfortable desire of the present moment.
I think we need to really emphasize the mechanism of discipline here. The manual isn't asking you to be a superhero every day. It's asking for a constant choice.
Yes.
So how do we make discipline feel like a choice and not just this oppressive burden we have to carry?
You have to view it as training a muscle. That's the best analogy. Every single time you choose the required action over the preferred easy action.
Like getting out of bed when the alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze.
That's a perfect example. Or closing the distracting browser tab. Or sticking with the planned task when it gets tedious. Every time you do that, you are casting a vote.
A vote for who?
For the person you want to become. Discipline is just the simple, repeated choice to act in alignment with your future self, rather than your current impulsive self.
And the source says that growth begins not when it's easy.
But precisely when it is uncomfortable, when it's inconvenient, and when it is the absolute last thing your body feels like doing.
This completely changes how we think about the source of confidence then.
It demolishes the common wisdom.
We're all conditioned to believe we need high self-esteem or we need a support system in place before we can start something big.
And that entire premise, according to this manual, is completely backwards. It's why so many people are stuck. Confidence is not a prerequisite.
It's a result.
It is a result of action. You must start before you are supported. You must start before you are ready. You must start before you feel competent.
That makes so much sense when you hear it laid out like that. If you avoid the hard things until you feel confident enough to do them.
You'll avoid them forever. You will never build strength. Strength is built by encountering and overcoming resistance.
It's like going to the gym. You don't wait until you're strong to lift the weights. You lift the weights to get strong.
Exactly. Confidence is built by doing the hard stuff, not by thinking about it. It grows when you successfully navigate the very thing you are afraid of doing.
So the real test of your commitment isn't how excited you feel when you sign up for the course or set the goal.
No, the real test is showing up today, tired or not, busy or not, afraid or not.
Life rewards what you finish, not what you say you'll start.
That's the line. The talkers stay stuck. The finishers move forward.
That talker's trap is so common. It's easy to set goals. It's easy to talk a big game. I'm going to start tomorrow. It's cheap noise.
It is. The system, life, whatever you want to call it, it rewards proof, which means what you do in the next 5 minutes has to line with your supposed ambition.
Which leads directly to the idea of creating momentum.
Yes. The manual is very clear here. You don't build momentum by waiting for some massive external shove or some big inspirational event.
A lightning strike.
Right. You build it by focusing on consistent, deliberate, uncomfortable action. Momentum is just the cumulative effect of a series of small, intentional acts stacking on top of each other.
So even if the action is messy, or it's slow, or it feels tiny, the goal is just to start turning the wheel.
Just get the wheel to move 1 inch. The manual focuses on getting your body moving. Get your mind focused on the single most important task. If the big goal feels overwhelming, scale it down.
Scale it down ruthlessly.
Ruthlessly. Until the first step is so small, it's almost impossible not to do it. The biggest energy drain in life isn't doing the work. It's dealing with the mental resistance to starting the work.
Once you start, the energy comes back to you.
The energy flows back. And this creates that psychological feedback loop you mentioned.
The addiction to progress.
Exactly. Once you taste it, once you see a tangible, measurable result from your own self-discipline, no matter how small, it's incredibly addictive. You think, wait a minute, I did that hard thing, and I survived. In fact, I'm stronger now.
That taste of success rewrites your internal script.
It does. You start to develop new strength. You feel more in control because you're operating on proof, not on hope.
You stop needing that external push.
Because you start pushing yourself. And the ultimate goal of this entire section is to transform you into the kind of person who gets up every day and does what is necessary without being asked or scheduled or reminded.
That's the definition of maturity, of autonomous power, as the manual calls it.
It's the whole game.
That internal transformation. It really is what separates people who change from people who just stay the same. It's not about intelligence or luck. It's about the consistent willingness to execute.
That's it.
Speaking of execution, let's move into the really tactical segments, starting with what the manual frames as a war.
Discipline Hack 1, the war against comfort and ease. So this section of the manual, it contains some of the harshest truths, but they're absolutely necessary. And it begins with a fundamental realization.
Which is that growth is inconvenient.
That's it. Simple as that.
And the really unfortunate reality is that most people never get close to their potential. Because choosing comfort is it's too easy, it's too available, it's too socially acceptable in the modern world.
It is. Comfort gives you that immediate short-term relief. But the manual calls it a progress toxin.
A progress toxin, I like that.
Because it delays your goals. It keeps your potential perpetually at a distance, just out of reach.
We have to understand then that growth is not supposed to feel good at the start.
It's fundamentally not supposed to. I mean, think about it. If your workout is easy, you are not getting stronger. If your creative work doesn't make you mentally exhausted at some point, you're not breaking any new ground.
You're just repeating what you already know.
Exactly. The human body and mind prefer homeostasis. They want to maintain the current comfortable state. Any demand for higher performance is immediately met with internal resistance.
So the simple equation is, if you are comfortable, you are guaranteed not to be growing. You are static.
And if you're static in a world that's always moving forward, you're actually falling behind.
Growth demands more than you're used to giving. That's why the brain fights back.
It's a moment-by-moment negotiation. Every single day presents the same profound choice. There's the path that stretches you, that demands effort, that requires temporary discomfort.
And then there's the other path, The one that keeps you exactly the same.
The disciplined person has to make a conscious decision that they want the growth more than they want the immediate short-term relief.
So this means you have to actively train yourself to embrace inconvenience.
You do. The manual suggests starting small. If you want to build this mental resilience, start your day by doing the hardest task first.
Or take a cold shower. Or just sit in uncomfortable silence for 5 minutes instead of immediately reaching for your phone as a distraction.
These are small acts of defiance. They're tiny rebellions against the impulse for ease.
And these small acts build up. What did you call them? Mental calluses.
Mental calluses. The people who actually grow are the ones who learn to act in spite of the discomfort. They show up when it's hard. They stick with the task when it gets boring. They stay committed long after the initial excitement has worn off.
That ability to just sustain effort through boredom and pain,
Yeah.
that's the real key to self-mastery.
It is. It's the whole engine.
So what happens if you don't do this? What if you consistently choose comfort? The manual gets pretty dark here. It talks about the genuine cost of settling.
And it is a terrifying prognosis. The longer you live in that comfort zone, the harder it is to step out.
It's like gravity. It gets stronger.
It develops a gravitational pull. And if you consistently only do what feels easy, you are essentially guaranteeing that you will never discover the full scope of what you're capable of.
You end up creating a life that might look fine from the outside, but it feels hollow inside.
Totally hollow. Because deep down, you've been playing it safe. You've been playing small.
And that cost, it compounds over time. It's not just a stagnant career.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's the slow atrophy of your physical health. It's the deterioration of your relationships because you stop putting in the effort. And it's the spiritual decay of never answering that question.
What if?
What if I actually tried my absolute best?
This is how the manual defines regret. It's fascinating. It says, regret doesn't come from trying and failing.
No. Failure is data. Failure is learning. The person who tries and fails walks away stronger, wiser. They have new information.
Regret, the manual argues, comes from knowing you held back.
Knowing you didn't give it your all, knowing you actively chose the path of least resistance because you were scared, that is the regret that lingers. That hurts deeper and longer than any momentary fear of failure ever could.
So the tactical shift here has to be immediate. It has to be non-negotiable. You have to train yourself to lean into the hard things every day.
If your mind is searching for the easy way out, your automatic trained response must be to choose the opposite. You have to start choosing what grows you, not what soothes you.
And we have to see this as a zero-sum game. That's another point the manual makes very clearly.
If you are not actively growing, you are, by definition, shrinking.
There is no standing still.
There's no such thing. Time is moving, responsibilities are piling up, and if you don't move forward with intention, you fall behind. It doesn't matter how comfortable your current situation feels.
Growth forces you to learn. It sharpens your skills. It wakes you up. The discomfort is just the price of admission for the long-term exponential reward.
The struggle itself is temporary, but the results of that discipline, they will define the rest of your life.
So the big takeaway from this war on comfort is simple.
Make difficulty your new standard. If it feels hard, you are probably on the right track. If it feels easy, you need to raise the standard.
That sets us up perfectly for the next step. We're moving from the philosophy of fighting comfort to the practical internal system upgrade.
Let's get into discipline hack 2, rebuilding the system from the inside out.
Okay, this segment is all about the unseen engine that runs your life. We're talking about habits, accountability, and time. We'll start with what the manual calls habits, the silent controller.
This is such an important point. The source says that if your life feels consistently off track, it is almost never because of one big dramatic failure.
It's not one big explosion.
No, it's the slow, quiet accumulation of small, thoughtless, automated behaviors. It's your habits. They stack up over time and they silently direct your entire trajectory.
Your habits are the script that you're living by.
And if you aren't actively and consciously writing that script, then they are absolutely controlling you.
And most people are living on this convenience-driven autopilot.
Completely. They wake up, first thing they do is grab the phone, they start scrolling, they're immediately engaging in reactive behavior, they put off the hard choices until the afternoon.
And they tell themselves that familiar lie, I'll start fresh tomorrow.
But tomorrow becomes next week, next month, and pretty soon, life feels like it's out of their hands. Not because the world is unfair, but because their unexamined, convenience-driven habits are running the entire show.
You cannot fix your results if you're still using the same habits that created the problem in the first place.
Exactly. Which is why the manual focuses immediately on structure, and specifically on the critical importance of the first hour rule.
That first hour of the day, it says it's deterministic.
Absolutely deterministic. It sets the tone, it sets the pace, it sets the intention for the next 15 hours.
So if you start that hour with chaos, with noise, with distraction,
Checking reactive emails, reading sensational news, doom scrolling social media,
you are guaranteeing that the rest of your day will follow that same pattern.
you're starting the day in defense mode. You're responding to whatever the world throws at you instead of starting in offense mode where you are executing your plan.
So the manual insists you have to replace that default chaotic start with intention, with structure, with routines that actively pull you forward.
And this is where the boring but essential work comes in.
This isn't glamorous.
Not at all. The fix is deceptively simple. You just have to start replacing habits that waste time with habits that use time intentionally.
And the manual warns us, real progress is boring. It's unglamorous. It's often totally invisible to other people.
It happens quietly, in those moments when you choose what's right. The 10 minutes of meditation, the early morning work, the consistent workout, instead of what's easy. Especially, and this is the key, when no one is watching.
And that quiet, internal consistency that leads us to the ultimate and most difficult test of character.
Private accountability.
This one really hit me.
It's profound. The manual says, look, anyone can perform when there's a huge crowd watching, or when a multi-million-dollar deadline is looming, or when their reputation is on the line.
That's extrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
The pressure is coming from the outside.
Right. But the real test of your growth, of your discipline, of your internal architecture, is what you do when nobody is watching. No applause, no coach, no immediate deadline breathing down your neck.
That's the moment your true character is exposed.
It's fully exposed.
Yeah.
And the manual suggests that this is the very reason so many people have low confidence. They are suffering from what it calls an internal trust crisis.
An internal trust crisis. Explain that.
They know deep down that they break their word to themselves constantly. They only perform when the external pressure demands it.
But when that pressure is gone,
The second it's gone, the weekend arrives, the boss leaves the office, the project is submitted, they relax their standards, they delay their personal goals, they quietly cut corners.
and over time, they teach their own subconscious mind a terrible lesson.
That their word to themselves is worthless. And that fundamental lack of self-trust, it erodes your confidence far more effectively than any external failure ever could.
So accountability in this context is not about being perfect.
Not at all. It's about being ruthlessly honest with yourself about where you are feeling yourself. Where do you cut corners? Where do you slack off that nobody else knows about?
Because the manual provides a really chilling metric for this.
It's chilling. It says the standard you accept when you are alone is the standard that will absolutely define your entire life.
So if you accept mediocrity in those quiet, private hours,
You will eventually, inevitably, find mediocrity in your public results. You have to raise that internal standard, not lower it because nobody is looking. You have to become someone who leads yourself, who acts without being told or prompted.
and that self-leadership relies entirely on your command of one last systemic resource.
Time, the irrecoverable resource.
This is the ultimate non-renewable asset.
The ultimate. You can lose money and, maybe make it back. You can miss an opportunity and another one might come along. But once a minute is gone, it is gone forever.
And how you use your time says everything about how serious you are about your own life.
It's a direct reflection of your self-respect.
The sneaky danger here, which the manual points out, is that most people don't have one big block of wasted time. They don't just sit there for 4 hours doing nothing.
No, it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's insidious. 10 minutes here scrolling. 20 minutes there in a pointless conversation. It all adds up so quietly.
An hour a day becomes 7 hours a week. Over 360 hours a year. And then you look up and wonder where the last 6 months went and why you achieved nothing of real significance.
And that's why better use of time means being intentional, not just being busy.
That's a huge distinction. Busyness is often just productive avoidance.
It's a great way to put it. You do a lot of easy, low-value tasks efficiently to avoid the 2 or 3 hard, high-value tasks that would actually move your life forward.
So you have to be ruthless. You have to prioritize and then protect those focused hours from all distraction.
You have to decide moment to moment. Am I running my time Or is distraction and laziness running it for me?
If you're just drifting into your day, hoping you get to everything, you're setting yourself up to fail. You have to lead your time, define your priorities, know exactly what you're working on and why.
Clarity is the tool that cuts out the waste. And the manual gives a really actionable tip here. Look at your daily screen time report on your phone. Look at the unproductive apps. Or think about any other daily distraction and just ask yourself one question.
What would happen?
What would happen if I used just half of that wasted time that is currently giving me nothing back but cheap dopamine hits and invested it in my health or my primary goal or my mindset?
That realization is often the starkest wake-up call imaginable.
It is, because you realize you already have the time. The 30 or 40 minutes a day you claim you need is probably already there, being squandered on things you won't even remember tomorrow.
You just have to care enough about your future to proactively protect your time from your present impulsive self.
And that intentional protection of your internal systems, that's what prepares us for the final part of this.
The ultimate shift. Activating the future self. Okay, this is the final section. It's the synthesis of everything we've talked about. Ownership, discipline, intentional action. But before we can build up, we have to tear something down.
We have to destroy the engine of inaction,
which is killing the excuse mindset.
The source material is completely unequivocal on this. There's no gray area. Excuses are just delays in disguise.
They're stories we tell ourselves.
They're narratives. They are specifically designed to allow you to avoid effort without feeling the immediate psychological pain of guilt. They exist to protect the fragile ego.
And the reasons, they always sound so believable, so justified. I'm too tired. I just don't have enough time. The kids take up all my focus. I'm just waiting for the right moment.
And you can explain why you haven't started until you are blue in the face. But explaining your lack of action does not and will never create a result.
Only action creates result.
Only action. And the cost of justification, as the manual calls it, is profound and it's subtle. You spend all your energy defending and explaining why you haven't started.
And that very energy is what you should be using to actually start.
It steals your forward momentum. It reinforces the weak mindset. Excuses feel safe because they protect your pride. If you never fully try, you never have to fully confront the possibility of failure.
You get to maintain the comforting illusion of potential.
Exactly. And this is the final battle. You have to stop protecting the region of yourself that is weak, that is passive, that is not growing. You must, metaphorically, kill that old identity.
The rule has to become non-negotiable.
No more excuses, period.
And the manual insists that nothing is worse than the regret of never trying, the regret of knowing you held back because of fear or convenience.
That regret lasts infinitely longer than any momentary fear of failure ever will. You have to face the cold, hard reality that nothing in your life will fundamentally change until you stop justifying where you are right now.
And once that protective shield of excuses is finally dropped, then you can do the real work.
The constructive work of becoming the person you admire. This is the heart of the entire manual.
It's the culmination of everything.
This is the critical identity level shift. You don't become your best self by passively waiting for inspiration to strike or by just daydreaming about future success.
You become it by acting like that person.
Today, immediately. And this is not fake it till you make it. It's not about faking anything. It's about aligning your current moment-to-moment behavior with the deep intention of who you are trying to become.
So let's define that future person, the future version of you, the one who actually achieves those big goals. Who is that?
Well, it's someone who follows through. It's someone who keeps their word to themselves. It's someone who doesn't cut corners when nobody is looking.
And if your current default behavior, the habitual delaying, the convenient avoiding, the quiet slacking, if that doesn't match the identity of that future successful person,
then nothing will ever change except the date on the calendar.
You have to prove it through quiet, consistent choices.
Your response to unexpected stress, how you manage an unplanned hour of free time, how you speak to yourself internally after a setback.
This identity building, it happens in those tiny micro moments.
It's the aggregate of hundreds of 10-minute decisions you make every day. It's the repeated response patterns you have to pressure. You have to prove through your actions that your new standards are non-negotiable, especially when it's hardest to uphold them.
And that proof becomes your new foundation.
It does. You start to realize, I'm not stuck. I am just one committed decision away from shifting everything. You stop thinking of yourself as someone who struggles with procrastination.
And you start acting as someone who executes immediately.
The expert conclusion of the manual ties it all together with the clearest metric for transformation. It says the difference between you now, the person stuck in the cycle, and the version of you that achieves your goals. It isn't ability. You have the potential.
The difference is behavior.
The difference is behavior, and that shift is not going to just appear out of the fog. It is actively created, one difficult, uncomfortable decision at a time.
You have to wake up and decide that today, again, I am going to carry myself like that future person.
Even when you're tired, even when it feels pointless, and especially when the motivation has completely vanished.
And when you do that consistently, over and over, you stop needing external validation. You stop needing that external push.
Because you've built something that no one can ever take from you.
A reputation with yourself.
A reputation with yourself. You trust yourself completely. You become your own unwavering standard.
So, we've spent this time dissecting this manual for mental toughness, and the summary is, it's sharp and it's direct.
It is. Your life is not waiting on ideal external conditions. It is waiting entirely on your internal decision to stop delaying and start owning your direction.
This is all on you.
And that fact is the most powerful gift you have, because it means you are in absolute total control of your own transformation.
So the call to action is to stop measuring your progress by these unreliable feelings like motivation or inspiration.
Right. Instead, measure it by tangible alignment.
Ask yourself at the end of the day, did I move, did I speak, and did I manage my time today like someone who is genuinely serious about their goals?
Did you protect your focus hours? Did you ruthlessly, consciously choose growth over temporary comfort?
This is the moment to internalize that final provocative thought from the source material.
You have already waited long enough. You have already made enough excuses to last a lifetime. You need to stop living on abstract potential and start living with concrete results.
Draw the line in the sand, right now. Prove through your actions that your changed behavior, not your ambitious words, is the only evidence of change that matters.
Don't hope for progress.
Earn it.
Start now. Make your next move count.